Hello, welcome back to Pneumatic Bonus video series. I am here in the Harris Teeter grocery store here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll take you on a quick journey through the grocery store tour as promised by some of you who I've talked to. Stick to the outside of the grocery store. One of my favorite things is the salad bar that they have. So as you can see here, you have a lot of different options to put in and make your own delicious, awesome salad. Lots of different colors, some dark leafy greens, and even a pre-mixed taco salad style here at the end. Looking very tasty with cheese and meats and looks like refried beans. And this, oh my, look at the color on this. Kale with the berry trio. Delicious. So as you can read the lips, what I'm saying is any of this on that side is great. Going over to the packaging, you have corn tortilla shells, which you want to avoid. And then right underneath that you have the regular clear containers, which is the proper container you want to use. Here's some bacon bits, which again, it smells like slightly like formaldehyde. I would not put that on. Here's some olive oil right from the container, so it's pretty safe to say that's the real deal. Now we're going to come over to some more alternative stuff that you can possibly put in your salad or in a different container all by itself. Looks like some beans over here, some boiled eggs that have been pre-cut up for you, and here's some carbs and starches you want to stay away from. And here's some fruit. So fruit's always going to be better than your breads and pastas, right? And as we say, twice as much vegetables as fruit. You really want to try to get the veggies in instead of fruit when it comes to your carbohydrates. And I'm just talking away here, but the volume is not that great. And that'll do it for the salad section. So here, if you are lactose intolerant, this does not apply to you, but if you tolerate cheese and the lactose that comes with it, it's a great option. High fat, high protein usually. The only thing is, the harder cheeses, if you have a little gassy issue with them, the harder cheeses are going to be better. Their softer cheeses will more than likely give you more gas. And as you just saw, those were different assortment of olives. And olives are a great party snack. And now we're getting into the different kinds of yogurt. So what I'm explaining to you here is the difference between the Chobani regular with nothing added in it, no sugar, no flavor, no fruits, because with flavors and fruits come a higher sugar content. Alright? So there's two different options with this Chobani yogurt. Here's the yogurt that I would not recommend because the ingredients have strange stuff in it. Okay? So you're looking at the juices here. Alright, here are little tiny bottles. They're like the size of little travel Gatorade containers. And what I would do, if you need your juice and you're transferring over to a high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet, it's better to have a watered-down version of those juices if you have to have them. Now here we go with our dairy alternatives, again, for the lactose intolerant crowd or those who just want to cut out milk from the diet in general. The two different kinds of almond milk, which I like the best, there's Silk and there is the Almond Breeze. I prefer the Almond Breeze because the company Silk tends to put more GMOs into their products, and I'm trying not to support that whole line of food, the GMOs. Alright? Biggest difference here that I'm showing you, alright, there's the coconut milk, another really good option. It's organic, there's no sugar added. The green label has no sugar added. I think what I'm going to do here is show you the difference between the almond almond milk, the unsweetened regular, and then the sweetened regular, right? So you want to always go with the unsweetened if you can, all right? Even the vanilla flavored almond breeze almond milk is comes in unsweetened. So here we go with the Irish butter. All right, so here's a cheaper version called Shannon Gold, and if you've seen my video on bulletproof coffee, I used my favorite butter, which is Kerrygold, and you'll see that in just a moment. There's the original here, Kerrygold. Now, this claims to have, it's 100% grass-fed cows all the way through, whereas Shannon Gold does not promote that on their label. They are, for nutrient value, they are the exact same. And I dropped a container there. I'm putting that back. And here you go. You've got yourself, I am comparing the nutritional labels. There's the Kerrygold, and then you'll see the Shannon Gold. If you look up there, it says $2.99 for Shannon Gold, and for the same amount of butter, it's $4.49. So Shannon Gold is going to be the cheaper option, trying to help you guys out with most cost effective. So here we go with some snacks. Let me spin this around for you in just a moment. I seem to be reading. Here we go. So I passed by like an almond sale, so these are the smoked almonds. This is no good. I'm reading the ingredients list. There's stuff in there like corn solids or something, and I don't understand that. That's really not needed. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of corn syrup or MSG in here. So I'm putting those back. I'm stepping away. If you do want flavor, there is the sea salt roasted almonds, and these are a really, really good decision if you're looking for a bit of flavor in your almonds and don't really like them plain and raw. Alright? And then you have the plain and raw almonds. Alright? This is a great snack. Grab a handful of these during your day to kind of stave off any hunger pangs you may be experiencing, right? Especially when you're transitioning. And now we are delving into one of the aisles, which I try not to go down the aisles unless it's for peanut butter or a different kind of oil. But for those of you that are transitioning, here we go. This one is the Harris Teeter's brand all-natural vanilla flavored ice cream. Alright? The ingredients are very, very simple. It's mostly just milk, cream, a little bit of sugar, and of course vanilla bean. Alright. So if you are in North Carolina, Harris Teeters are all over the place in this state. You can definitely get their Harris Teeter brand all-natural vanilla ice cream. And I'm giving a thumbs down to Breyers, which at one point in time had an all-natural, slow-churned brand, and it had the same ingredients pretty much as this Harris Teeter brand. And I guess they've since then changed that, so I'm giving them a big thumbs down. Now, for those of you who are not in North Carolina watching this, you still have an option that I found here, and it's the company called Blue Bunny. And the ingredients list, if you can see it on there, very simple: milk, sugar, egg yolks, cream, vanilla bean flakes, I think it says on there. Very, very simple. I mean, the sugar's on both of these ice cream products, which I'm comparing right now. It's 15 and 16 for sugars on both of them. I think maybe one of them is 15 and 14, and one of them is 15 and 16 for sugar carbohydrates, respectively. But you know what? That is much better than a lot of other ice creams that I've seen before, where they have corn syrups in them, and their sugar content and carbohydrate content is much higher, like in the 30s and 40s. Alright, and I think the serving size on these is about 2 cups, or 2, generous size scoops. And here we go, a quick little side note with the hot sauces. I'm going to teach you how to make hot sauce later on. I'll make a video about that. But if you like to spice things up a little bit, this is my personal favorite. Frank's Red Hot. It's a cayenne pepper based hot sauce. And it's just got vinegar, cayenne peppers, garlic, and salt. It's pretty awesome. Here Here we go. Looking at bacon, I like the company Applewood. They make a really good bacon. They don't put any extra funny stuff in it. This one I found though has less fat, and when there's less fat, it usually means they had to substitute that with something else to make it still flavorful. But right below it I find Smithfield, and Smithfield is a very big pork company. They are all over the world, or at least the US. Their all naturals line, you can barely see it there. I'm not really aiming the camera very well, but so you see I'm going with the all natural bacon. Now we're going with hot dogs. I'm not a big fan of eating hot dogs. I'd much rather you go with a burger or a steak. Here's the burgers. Right? If you are going to get hot dogs, those Oscar Mayer naturals I pointed at and gave it a thumbs up, so those are good. Here's some grass-fed ground beef right next to the bison. Alright, so bison and grass-fed ground beef are going to be your best bet. I'm checking out the ingredients, making sure there's nothing funny in there. Alright, and now I'm looking at the percentages. So on these store-packaged ones, and you can tell they're store-packaged because there's that colored foam and then the plastic wrap over it. That means it was ground and packaged right there at the store. So you can see there's percentages on there. There is 80, say like 90% lean, 10% fat. When you're transitioning over to this high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet, you really want to go with the higher fat meats because your primary fuel source is fats. All right. So the highest fat content I found was 85 and 15. All right. Now we're in oils, and I'm letting you check out some of the oils they had available here. Some of them look flavored, like there's a peppered flavored one there. You can see sesame oil, which is a high heat type of oil. I love the company Spectrum. They do a really good job. They're not messing around. So olive oil, coconut oil, unrefined if you can. Here are the spices, okay? So there's a little bit of spices. Some of the best ones, in my opinion, I'm kind of pointing them out. So you have turmeric there, I have my finger on. That's a great antioxidant. Keep yourself clean. Also sea salt, cinnamon, paprika, and curry are also ones that I pointed out. Alright, try not to get any sweet ones. You can see here this is full of brown sugar. Alright, full of brown sugar, molasses. There's probably some corn syrup. Most of them do have it in there. I would put this down and walk away. If you're going to have a canned protein product, I recommend, this is the best one, the black eyed peas. They have the lowest carbohydrate per serving, which is usually about a cup. So there's like, I think there's 2 servings in each can, right? So that's definitely a good deal, especially if you're on a very tight budget and or if you are a vegetarian. This is a great way to get your fats and proteins. Using, you can cook them in coconut oil or butter, depending on either your limitations or personal beliefs and standards as far as food is concerned. Now, again, with canned food, I strongly recommend you go with fresh produce, but if you have to and you're on a very tight budget, you can still get your greens, your dark leafy greens from canned vegetables. Do not get it from these here. These are grains, not vegetables. Corn is a grain, and there is stuff in there that you should not be putting in your body. Your body doesn't recognize it. It's not good. So just leave the corn alone. Here we go. Another great snack. I found these earlier this summer. They're called Dang Coconut Chips. They are fantastic. I'm comparing them to apple chips that are right next to them. The apple chips have higher carbohydrate and sugar content because, well, they're a fruit. It's an apple. Coconut is a nut. They have a much higher fat content. These are not sweetened, and that's important. The sweetened ones are a little bit too much sugar. These are great. High fat content. It's going to satiate you, and they're a little bit addicting, which I'm probably going to say again at the end when you take a look at my cart. But just so you know, here you go. Dang, green label. Toasted coconut chips. They are delicious. Very, very important. This is apple cider vinegar. You can buy these in bulk. They're on the bottom shelf of the vinegar section. So there's red one, the apple cider vinegar. This is great for salads, mixing in with your olive oil and sea salt. I put some in my water. There's some distilled vinegar, white distilled vinegar. I don't recommend intaking this with your food. It's a little bit abrasive. But distilled vinegar, okay, I'm saying something about the apple cider vinegar again, but the white, the blue label next to it there, the white distilled vinegar is great for getting that mildew smell out of your laundry. Okay, there you go. I'm pointing at that again here. So use this for your laundry, right, to get maybe cat pee out, and it definitely works on getting the mildew smell out of your towels or those clothes that have been in your gym bag for too long. One thing that I've found to be delicious. Alright, we've moved on here to the different salad dressings. So if you're not a fan of the olive oil and apple cider vinegar, which I use on almost every time I have a salad, I'm going to give you some recommendations for pre-mixed salad dressings that you can buy at the store. I'm messing around with the Greek salad dressing, which I personally love. If you're going to get salad dressing at a restaurant, I think that the Greek salad dressing is the best one. It's really hard to mess that up. I'm holding a light honey mustard, which has corn syrup in it and a very high sugar content. The carbohydrate content is very high. And then I have this other honey mustard salad dressing, and while I really don't think honey mustard salad dressing is it's probably one of the worst ones you can have, I'm just trying to show you, as someone who may be transitioning, which one to grab that's going to be a better option for you. So that light one, horrible. I'm going to compare them side by side. The regular one, you're going to have less sugar content, less carbohydrate content, and it's not as bad. There's still some soy in there, which kind of scares me. Soy is a very bad thing when it comes to your hormone balance, and hormones are at the root, at the base level. That's what's helping you either burn fat or store fat. All right. So I'm just pointing some stuff out. High fructose corn syrup in the light, and then the regular ones are just spun back around. It is like really hasn't been tampered with too much. Probably some preservatives to keep a long shelf life, but other than that, not too bad. So if you're just starting this new way of eating, just read the back, read the ingredients, read the carbohydrate content and sugar content, okay? Now here I picked up some kind of Asian sesame type salad dressing, and it seems really good. It says like all natural on there, no sugar content. I mean, it really is 0 gram sugar per serving on there. The carbohydrate is pretty low. I know there was some soy in the ingredients list, which kind of scared me a little bit. I put it back, and then I realized on the front it says sweetened with Splenda. And Splenda is a chemical and causes a not so pleasant hormonal storm inside your body because it's not real sugar. Now, you're looking at some, I don't know, I'll call them juice alternatives or snacking drinks or smoothies in a bottle that you can buy prepackaged. Those naked or Odwalla types, way too much sugar and carbohydrates, right? I love the kombuchas. You're looking at a bunch of the kombuchas here. There's the Gingerade. I'm about to show you, here's the ginger berry. And then the first one I showed you was the multi-green. I love the multi-green. And I don't really recommend the Amazon Energy. I don't think it really does anything for you. These look pretty cool. If you're going to get like a juice kind of thing, this has a lot of greens in it. I mean, it's got a higher sugar content, but for the most part, it's good. I would personally recommend the blue or the green, right? I'm checking out I think the Odwalla one. I'm checking out the difference between the two. And, I mean, you're cutting the sugar content in half just with the Suja, which I'm touching right there, as opposed to like an Odwalla or a naked smoothie, right? You're not going to get that thick smoothiness to it, but at the same time, it's gonna smash your cravings, your hunger pangs. Soda is horrible, and to replace that, I would go with the kombucha. All right, container snacks or party dips, stuff like that. These are fantastic. I had this for the Super Bowl, and I also made a video on it. I was dipping my leftover chicken in this. This is it's a spinach yogurt type of dip. It's fantastic. It's got some greens. The fat content's a little bit higher. I mean, it's not like a fatty type of food by any means, but it's definitely got some fat in there, and that's always a good thing. Right above it, you have guacamole, the original. And I'm going for the spicy. I tend to like the spicy. It'll last longer than an avocado. Avocados tend to go bad within a week, so you have to buy them and kind of eat them within that week. And that goes for most produce you'll buy. This is great. As soon as you unseal it, though, as soon as it's opened, you need to finish it within 3 days. Otherwise, it looks brown and it's not so tasty. But right out of the package, delicious and just as fresh as if you just cut open a fresh avocado. Going down just a little bit to the prepackaged, bagged salads. If you don't want a fresh salad from the salad bar, on the other side of the grocery store, you have prepackaged salad greens. Remember that the darker leafy greens are better than that white, kind of just water-laden, nutrient-empty iceberg lettuce kind of stuff. Alright, I'm going back in here to get my kombucha, and and that suji drink, and we'll throw that in there. Right? Boom. Fantastic. These are banana chips. They are sweetened, but again, I'm just trying to transition some of you who are just starting this to stay away from the starchy carbohydrate-y things. At least it's a fruit. It's not as detrimental on your gut wall. All right? So you won't have any leaky gut issues. Trying to help you out here. I'm comparing organic sweet potatoes to local sweet potatoes. So one's organic and probably local, and the other ones down below are local, but they are not considered organic. And I'm just showing you the difference between the two. And I'm going to go on a price saver run here and go ahead and go with the local. So I'll end up putting this back. And I'm going to go for the North Carolina grown sweet potato. And they're also called yams. I've picked up some sweet potatoes that end up being kind of like a white, almost like a yellow, purpley kind of color to it. The yam, or my version of a sweet potato, are orange. They contain a high amount of beta-carotene, which carrots also contain. But I love sweet potato and some grass-fed butter in there. It's If you're a very strict vegetarian, you can just put some coconut oil in there, just as good. Sprinkle some sea salt and you are ready. Even maybe some nutritional yeast flakes. These are the onion section. White, green, and yellow onions cause you to stink, okay? Red onions are the only onions that do not cause you to give off an unpleasant odor. And what I mean by that is if you've ever smelt anybody while playing sports or in the gym and they smell like they just walked out of Burger King or ate a Whopper, it's the white, yellow, or green onions. They may have not just walked out of a fast food restaurant. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Alright, now we're over to the grain section. And I'm not a big fan of grains at all, mostly for the fact that they cause inflammation, and when you have inflammation, usually it means your body is going to be putting on weight, storing fat instead of burning fat. The exception, from what I have experienced, is quinoa and lentils in particular. And also, the canned beans every once in a while. But for the most part, to get your protein in is getting the lentils and quinoa. Here's chia seeds. I love these in smoothies. They absorb 2 times their mass in water. So you soak them in liquid for a little bit, and they end up accumulating this kind of gel film around it. And I love that. It's a great mucoid. It helps pass things along in your digestive system, so it's great. Put it to your smoothies. It's got omega-3s, proteins, fantastic. What I found here are the sprouted section. So I found the trio of quinoa sprouted, and then I also found sprouted lentils. So I'm putting the other ones back, and I'm going with the sprouted for both of those. They're a little more expensive, but you know what? Definitely worth it. Sprouted makes it easier. It's easier to digest, and the nutrients are better absorbed. Here we go. Packaged bar snack, something you can just grab on the way out the door and put in your pocket or purse or throw them in the car. All of these are way too grainy, probably have a lot of sugar and other stuff that you really don't need to be consuming. The one that I really, really, really like, and I can't find anything better than it, are Kind bars. Now these aren't my favorite. This is all they had left, and I will show you at the either on at the end of this video or on the next one I do the top 3 Kind bars that I like. So here we are back at the very opposite end of the store than we came in, and this is the produce section. And this is great. Whatever you get here, plan on using within the week. I think that shopping once a week is a great idea, and you are stored for the week. So whatever you buy that's fresh produce from that area, use within that week. Alright? So now I'm going to pull over to the side here. I'm not in anybody's way, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of what I got. So packaged greens, there's the chia seeds, there's those dang coconut chips. Oh, so delicious. Remember, they're unsweetened. They're just roasted. They have not had any sugar added to them. So I'm kind of making that clear. Alright, then you have the Blue Diamond almonds. Whole, natural, nothing added. If you want to add a little flavor, you can soak them in water and add whatever spices you want. Sea salt by itself is a fantastic spice to kind of add a little bit of delicious flavor to your almonds. There's your sweet potato. I'm going to scratch it so you can see. It's a little bit orange. And here's the Blue Diamond Almond Breeze almond milk for the dairy alternative, and it's the unsweetened original. Unsweetened, you'll see that kind of pinkish purplish top to it. That means it's unsweetened. They'll say it right there. And then make sure you're getting the original. It's going to be a little green label on the bottom. Now I'm showing you the sprouted grains, which is your vegetarian protein source, or just want to take a break from meat, which I do from time to time. Here are your sweetened banana chips. If you can find unsweetened banana chips, awesome. Plantain chips are okay. They're a little bit carby, a little bit of higher carbohydrate content than banana chips, which is interesting to me. Still very good. A great alternative to regular potato chips or corn tortilla chips. Even those veggie chips are not that great. I mean, the most of it is potato anyway. And I really don't think potatoes are a vegetable, especially if you're trying to get lean. There's my kombucha. There is this suja. Kombucha has this great thing where it gives you probiotics. So it's reflourishing your gut with healthy bacteria. And a healthy gut equals a happy person. So you want to make sure that you are maintaining good gut bacteria. And if you've just come off of antibiotics, you need to replenish your gut bacteria, because antibiotics get rid of bad bacteria in your gut, but also the good bacteria in your gut that help digest food and help make you happy. Alright? If you have lots of gut flora, then you're going to be happy. It's almost a guarantee. Alright? There's my all-natural Smithfield bacon that has been uncured, untampered with, nothing crazy. There's the Shannon Gold butter. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Grass-fed butter. You can, high heat this. I use it for my eggs in my iron skillet, my cast iron skillet. I put a little bit in my coffee, like I showed you in my bulletproof coffee video. And what else do I do? I mean, there's so many uses for it. I put it on top of maybe my burger or my steak to kind of moisten it up a little bit. It's great.
Put those in there and mash it up with your spoon and mix it in. Food on the bottom, on the crab, that's got cornstarch.
And I'm explaining the yogurt there. There's the 0%, which is the blue label I held up, and there's the green label, which is 4% milk fat. I didn't find it in the store, but I found it later and took a picture of it, which I'll add. Alright, there's the red onion. It's the only onion you really should be eating if you can help it, alright, so you don't stink. This has been fantastic. I'm so glad I had an opportunity to finally do this. It was messy, but I hope that you got the idea. I will see you next time. Eat well, play hard, live simply. Nomadic Wellness. And here are the addendums to the grocery store tour. Here are your cage-free, free-range brown eggs, your your 4% fat plain Greek yogurt. Here's an avocado. It's squishy and soft and ready to eat as is. Here is plain crunchy peanut butter. You can get that or smooth. Only salt and peanut should be in the ingredients list. And then here's my Kind bars. Dark chocolate, peanut butter, and coconut.